Hello. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Hello. Yeah, okay. Sorry that I have to leave super early, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of my impressions of how it has been going so far. So I'm going into COP as a delegate from the University of Aberdeen delegation, as an observer. And so far, I must say that we haven't been able to observe very much. Observers have very limited access to what is happening in COP. We have been able to visit the pavilions, but we haven't been having access to the opening statements. We can watch them online, but we cannot be physically where all of the negotiations will be taking place. There's a little bit of noise among the observer community because there's very few passes available and the process to obtain them is a little bit obscure. So it's a little bit bittersweet because we have been able to see how it is inside, but we haven't been able to see what the actual negotiations look like. We hope that maybe tomorrow after the World Leaders Summit is finished, we might get more access, but there's not confirmation that we will anyway. My first impressions are that there's a lot of ambition from the activists and for the young leaders, not so much for those who have to make the decisions. It looks like, or at least it looks to me, from my, and this is my personal opinion, that the best organized things are the ones that have been organized by the civil society. So huge thanks to Climate Fringe and the Climate Chaos Scotland, because they have been organizing events and they have been putting up the program onto their webpage, being it more accessible than the actual COP webpage. I don't know if there's any, I have to go really quick because I'm meeting some of my colleagues, but I don't know if anybody has some questions. One thing that I have really liked is being able to attend to the climate structure expert dialogues. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. Is where the IPCC panel scientists are able to engage with the parties, and the parties are able to ask them questions about the science that they have published. So the I think it's the sixth report just came out, and the parties were able to question them on why are some knowledge gaps and how would that affect the decisions. It's sometimes funny to see how science can be weaponized in the arena, and how even when we think that science might be impartial, it might not, and the way that the science is presented can make such a big impact in the decisions that have been taken or will be taking place. I don't see the chat. I don't see if there's any questions. What is the atmosphere? Is the atmosphere like? I don't think it's very friendly. I think it's mostly quite, people are quite anxious, I would say, because there's long queues to access. It's between 1 hour, an hour and 20 minutes to access, which I think is bananas. And everybody's kind of like running from one place to another, not really sure about where events are happening because the schedule is not very clear anyway. But I think it's exciting. From my point of view, it's exciting because I had never been inside and I have had the chance to see how it is happening. But I can see how for people that have been going many years, it might be frustrating because that might obstruct how the negotiations proceed. Let me see if I can see the chat. Do you get the impression that the leaders are climate skeptics? Not really. I think there's quite a lot of acknowledgement about climate. What I think is that they are a little bit, they are not committed enough to make the decisions that they need to tackle climate change. So I don't think that at this point anybody's denying climate change. I think it is a matter of decision making. And I'm really sorry, but I'm gonna have to go. I'm sorry that it's so brief, but thanks for having me today, and I look forward to watch the rest of the session.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, and have a